Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to be diving into something unexpectedly fascinating. We're looking at a completely ordinary 8-word kindergarten transcript from Nunu TV. I know, it sounds kind of crazy, but if we really unpack these words, there is this brilliant hidden architecture at play here. So let's deconstruct the dual-phase catalyst arc. Section 1. The foundation of sequence.
Okay, here is our entire sourced text. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ready, steady, go. Now, in the original Nunu TV video, this plays out over bright, colorful visuals and an upbeat tune, right? But the text itself is entirely self-contained. It presents us with this fascinating mystery. How do these specific, universally recognized words totally bypass our logical filters to create such a visceral drive toward action?
Well, to solve that mystery, we first got to define the core mechanism at play here, which is sequence. In the context of this text, sequence is an order of literal numbers establishing a mathematical progression, specifically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This explainer kicks off with pure abstract sequence. Notice that there's no movement yet, right? No characters, no verbs. The text utilizes simple numerals to establish an ordered finite set before any physical action is even introduced. It's kind of like laying the tracks before you run the train. Section 2. The quantitative buildup. So let's see exactly how this tension builds. We begin with a really methodical and measured pace. The number 1 marks the undeniable initiation of the quantitative count. It essentially pulls you out of a state of rest and drops you right onto the starting line. It's a solitary data point, sure, but it's a powerful one because it signifies that a process has officially begun. But then, the momentum starts to subtly shift right here. By introducing 2, the text establishes a clear, undeniable pattern. I mean, a single number could just be random, but 2 numbers in ascending order, that dictates a rule. Our brains are these natural pattern recognition machines, and the moment we hear that second number, we subconsciously lock into the sequence. We know exactly what game we're playing. And then, we hit 3. We are now at the exact midpoint of our quantitative buildup, and you can feel the energy in the sequence noticeably accelerating. 3 provides a rhythm. It's a highly satisfying number in human psychology, often representing completeness. But here, it acts as a bridge. It signals to us that we're fully committed to this progression and we're actively moving toward a destination. At 4, the anticipation of a resolution grows immensely. We're nearing the end of the numerical sequence. The tension at this stage is literally palpable. The pattern is so deeply established in our minds at this point that the brain is already projecting what comes next. It's like that deep intake of breath right before you dive into the water. The structure absolutely demands a conclusion. And there it is, 5. We've reached the absolute peak of the progression. Capping off the quantitative phase right here creates maximum structural tension. We've essentially climbed this mathematical staircase, step by step, without a single distraction, and now we're standing at the very precipice of the numerical limit presented in our text. All that potential energy has been stored up. If we map this climb out, we hit 5 distinct milestones. This rigid linear progression conditions us to expect a major payoff. We've been expertly guided by this pattern, and the tension is right at its absolute maximum. Section 3. Transition to action. Which brings us to a stark contrast. We transition instantly, like without a single wasted syllable, from the calculated cognitive buildup of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, directly into the kinetic, physical commands of ready, steady, go. It's a total whiplash-inducing jump from pure theory into sudden practice. To truly appreciate how this works, we really need to observe this specific linguistic shift. The text radically changes its grammatical rulebook midway through. We jump from purely numerical digits, which only serve to measure and accumulate, to dynamic adjectives and an explosive verb. The vocabulary itself transforms to physically force us out of our analytical minds and immediately into our physical bodies. Section 4. The kinetic catalyst. So, if the first half of the text was about winding the spring tighter and tighter, this half is all about the dramatic, deeply satisfying release. Just like the 5-part numbers that preceded it, this final phrase breaks down into its own inherent 3-part sequence of instructional action steps. It doesn't just yell run at you, it actually guides you through the mechanics of movement. Step 1 is ready. That's the crucial preparation phase where your mental focus is locked in. Step 2 is steady, the stabilization phase, checking your physical balance before the leap. And step 3 is go, the absolute uninhibited execution of movement. The underlying psychological mechanic here is absolutely fascinating when you map it out. The text mirrors the highly structured, predictable sequence of the numbers, but strictly applies that predictability to physical motion. The math trained our brains to expect a sequence, and these three kinetic words deliver the physical equivalent. Ready aligns the mind, steady aligns the posture, and go sparks the motion. It's just an incredibly elegant conversion of mathematical potential energy into pure kinetic physical energy.
Okay, let's tie all of this together. We've seen three distinct, brilliant mechanics at play in just 8 words. First, the 1 through 5 numerical buildup that seamlessly stores tension. Second, the stark, completely unexpected transitional pivot in linguistics. And third, the final sequenced kinetic release. Ultimately, this brief text is a literal masterclass in behavioral design. It builds undeniable tension through the logic of numbers and releases it through the thrill of action. It demonstrates just how deeply and universally we're all primed for movement when we're given the right structure.
Which leaves us with a truly compelling thought to walk away with. As you think about how this Nunu TV text so meticulously, carefully guides us from abstract sequence to physical action, ask yourself this. How do you build your own momentum before you finally say go? In your own projects, habits, or daily life, are we always subconsciously counting down, or actually, in this case, counting up, to our next big leap? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and remember, keep looking for the brilliant structures hiding inside the simplest things.